Greetings everyone, the day we've been eagerly anticipating has finally arrived. It's qualifying day and let's dive straight into the review of the Bahrain Grand Prix qualification. The day wouldn't be complete without yet another embarrassment from Ferrari. But this one isn't as harsh as what happened throughout the last year. In the first few minutes of Q1, the part of the car was flying around on the straight, causing the first red flag in 2023. Definitely not the way Ferrari wanted to start this year. But have to mention, rest of the session was quite alright for them. So let's start with Q1. In Q1 we lost Gasly, De Vries, Piastri, Magnussen and Sargent. The first disappointment of the session was Gasly. Even before his flying lap was deleted due to the track limits, he was on the P17 and will start the race at P20, dead last. It's not what you need in the first race for the new team. I haven't heard anything about problems with the car, so it looks like he still needs to moor the car better. Another disappointment was Magnussen. He knows the car and he developed it with the team last year, but now he can't even beat the teammate who was retired for the last few years. Very bad. Okay, too much negativity, I know it. So to balance it out, let's get two positive ones in Q1. And the first positive vibe of 2023 season is just 1.128 seconds separating first and last place in Q1. It's been a very long time since we have such a competitive qualification. And F1 should be proud of the new rules. Hopefully we can get such quali session every weekend. And the second positive thing for me is finally Williams have the decent drivers behind the wheel. And I have to be honest with you, I had doubts about Sargent before the season. But for now, he proved me wrong and he could have been in Q2, but he set the exact same time as Norris, who did it first, and that's why Norris in Q2, and unfortunately Sargent is out in Q1. But good job, and I really hope that he will keep it up in the race and can challenge Albon. So in Q2 we lost Albon, Tsunoda, Zhou, Bottas and Norris. And Albon didn't even finish the one lap in Q2 because on his flying lap he just went wide, and actually I think P16 for this Williams is a very good result at the moment. And actually in Q2 there wasn't much to talk about up until the last few minutes before the end of the session, when suddenly the track started to ramp up and there were lots of time improvement throughout the field, and that was very sketchy to the front runners like Ferrari and Mercedes. And actually at some point both Ferraris were below P10 and were out of Q2. But at the end of the session, they showed very good laps and made it through. I want to mention Tsunoda as he had a very quiet qualification, but easily beat his teammate, who's De Vries of course, and he is considered as a rookie, but actually I think he's older than Tsunoda, so he has some experience, and so I have to give it to Tsunoda, especially after not a very good last season. So Q2, P14, I know that AlphaTauri doesn't have a pace at the moment, but if something happens at the front, maybe there is a chance for points. But the thing is, Tsunoda has to stay as far away from the trouble as possible, which he had troubles last year. And I had to mention one thing before going to Q3. McLaren car is dreadful. Honestly, it's a miracle that Norris got to P11. He definitely outdrives this car, so hats off to him. Creme de la creme is Q3, the battle for pole position. I had a feeling that Q3 would be epic, but it almost ended up being a letdown. So let's dive into the results. First up is P10 and it's one and only Nico Hülkenberg. It's a bad parody for Daniel Ricciardo. This man was retired for a few years, then earned his reputation as a super sub, and now he's on the grid and in Q3. I'm sure that he's living his best life at the moment, and he continues to do it for the whole season. Next up is surprising P9 for Ocon. No one saw that coming, especially after testing and free practices, but good job from his side, especially when his teammate is P20. P8 is Stroll, and well, he had a very scrappy whole qualifying session, but let's not forget that he returned from an injury and didn't participate in testing earlier. While other drivers already had a feeling for this year's car, he had to learn it all in just one weekend. Hats off to him, and let's see what he can show in the next few weekends when he's up to speed, especially as the Martins are very close to the front row. It was a bit of disappointment evening for Mercedes with P6 for George Russell and P7 for Lewis Hamilton, with only half a tenth between them. It feels like a repeat of last year when Russell was beating Hamilton. Will this trend continue? Only time will tell. Fernando Alonso takes P5. He debuted for Minardi 22 years ago in 2001 when I first went to school. And now he's still driving at the highest level, battling with the great drivers. It's great to see him on top, and I'm looking forward to his battles with Ferrari, Red Bulls and Mercedes. And from now on it's quite boring. P3 and P4 for Ferrari. And Carlos Sainz, he has to do something with his quali pace. And again, he made mistakes, he had to use extra tires, ending up still in fourth position by a miracle. If he doesn't want to become definite number 2 in Ferrari, he has to step up his game. Otherwise, it won't be a brainer to prioritize Leclerc in the future. Speaking of Leclerc, he will start third using only one set of soft tires in Q3, even though he had two. And most of us feared that something went wrong with his car, and that's why he didn't take a chance to run the second flying lap to compete for pole position. But it all was part of Ferrari master plan, to save some new tires for the race. And on the first row, P1, Max Verstappen, P2, Sergio Perez. Honestly, it's not surprising as they showed during testing that they have a very quick car. But this time around, actually, Sergio Perez is much closer to Max, so hopefully we might see some in-team battle. Who knows what will happen, but for sure the start of the race tomorrow will be interesting. If I had to grade this qualifying session, I would give it 8 out of 10. It almost had everything, including a battle for pole position, even though we missed Leclerc, who could have added more drama and intrigue at the end. But overall, very good beginning of the season. So good luck to all of you, and let's have a cracker of a race tomorrow. Bye!